This is our community of practice, our 9th community of practice, and it will focus on Google Drive and Google Docs today on 23rd of July, 2020. You are most welcome. Our quote that guides our community of practice today is, you cannot connect your students to the world if you aren't connected to it yourself. Yourself means the teacher or the guide. So today's meeting, as usual in any other meeting, which is a face-to-face meeting, this is a virtual meeting. We expect you to mute your microphone unless you are presenting so that we don't have interruptions. And when you want to have a question in this meeting, you can type in the chat box, but also we shall have a session of questions where you will be unmuted and you can talk orally in this meeting, but that will be at the end according to the program. It is similar to the face-to-face engagement. We expect you to be participating, to bring your ideas on board, and we shall take them up accordingly. You please remember to rename your device in your names so that we can be able to track and trace who is in the meeting. So you check on the participants, you click on your gadget, and rename will come, then you type in the right name or your official name. Thank you. So our community of practice for today, we have been going through several of them, but today we shall look at the Google Drive and Google Docs, and others will be for other days. So on this, we want to give you a reminder that in our next communities of practice, on the 11th community of practice, remember today is the 9th, after 9th we shall have the 10th, but on the 11th community of practice, which will be on 6th August, NTCs will be on stage. In other words, the participants from NTCs will prepare their community of practice to show us exactly what they have been doing. They will take up the stage to share their practicability of the tools that they have learned already and how they are applying them to enhance distance learning. They also share the good practices and how the tool is enhancing distance learning to the individual lecturers with their students, but also to the college. So they will prepare as a team. They will also show us the skills that are required to make the sessions better for distance learning, because we shall see what they are doing, but they also tell us what they need more to make sure they enhance distance learning in a better way. So NTCs prepare so much on stage, and we are expectant to see you on 11th. We can't wait. And this is the practical information for our community of practice on Google Doc and Google Drive, is that the training materials will be there after this community of practice. That is the recording of the community of practice, the PowerPoint presentation, which we shall share, but we shall also have the written tutorial. All these, you'll find them on the one-stop portal, which the link is down there, but will also be shared on different WhatsApp groups that we have been sharing, and that is the link. What is the agenda for today's meeting? Today's meeting, we shall begin with the learning objectives. We shall also have introduction to Google Drive and Google Docs. We shall look at becoming a Google Drive and a Google Doc master. We shall have the sharing of good practices on how Google Drive and Google Docs has been used in distance learning to those who are already using it. It will be followed by the question and answer session, and we shall have closing and the communication that will close the session. And therefore, we have a good presenter, that is Alice from Carilo. Alice, please take us the stage and give us the learning objectives. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Claire. Are you able to hear me?
Very well.
All right. So
yes,
our learning objectives for this community of practice will be as follows. The major objective will be understanding the tool, Google Drive, and its functionalities. Then we shall learn how to create an online folder in Google Drive, learning how to upload a file in Google Drive. Then we shall also learn how to create and download a document in bracket Google Doc, which is the same as a Google document. Learning how to share using Google Drive and Google Documents, we shall learn that. We shall learn how to collaborate using Google Drive and Google Documents. Next slide, please. So we now have our introduction to Google Drive and Google Documents. Next slide. So Google Drive and Google Documents is part of the G suite, just as it is elaborated down there. In the suite, we see the different tools, some of which we have already discussed. We have the Google Classroom, the Gmail, then we have the Google Drive, which is our attention for today, and the Google Document. We have the Sheets and many others as they are elaborated in the picture that you're seeing there. So Google Drive. So this is an application in Google Drive. If you have an account in Google Drive, then automatically you have access to Google Documents. You'll be able to access the Google Sheets, Google Slides, and the Google Forms. We are going to emphasize the Google Drive and the Google Documents for this session. Next slide. So, what is the Google Drive? A Google Drive can be defined as a cloud storage service. Like all cloud services, its primary function is to take some load off your hard disk. When your files are in the cloud, you can access them wherever you are with any device. It could be a smartphone, a tablet, or a laptop, or any other, as long as you have an internet connection. And you'll be able to share them with other people. These other people could be your colleagues, or they could be the students who are our attention for many of these tools. We say that, okay, we say that anyone with a Google account can use a Google Drive. So if you have a Google account, you'll be able to use a Google Drive. Next slide, please. What about a Google document? Google Docs is a word processor included as part of a free web-based software office suite offered by Google within its Google Drive service. Next slide. It's a safe place for all of your files. So it can be used to store. You can store your files there. You'll be able to share, as I said, with your colleagues, your students, and any other person of your wish. You'll be in position to collaborate with the others if you learn what Google Drive is and how to use it. Next slide. So why use Google Drive and Google Documents? It's a digital collaboration and paperless sharing. So you don't need papers, but you can easily collaborate with others in a digital form. So the main purpose is to ensure proper storage of information in the cloud. So you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to organize distribute, and correct assignments and course materials. You'll be in position to communicate with learners about their classwork. And you'll be in position to give feedback to your learners. So it is very vital indeed. Make learning more interactive and engaging. It will enable and support learners so that they collaborate as peers among themselves. And you'll be in position to share your ebooks with others. Next slide, please. So I call upon Stefano for live polling. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alice, for taking us through the introduction of Google Drive. At this moment, you should be seeing a poll on your screen, and you can select the answer directly from your screen. And the question is actually very easy, as we would like to know your prior knowledge. Have you used Google Drive and Docs before? So this being said, we will give you a few seconds to take this poll. And after this, we will share with you the answers. Okay, I can see people are still voting, so we will wait a few more seconds. Okay, great. I can see most of you have voted, so we'll now share the results. So these are the results. Have you used Google Drive and Documents before? 58% say yes, and 42% say no. So actually this result is quite balanced. So I hope that the people who voted yes, I hope you are ready to take your Google Drive and Google Documents skills to the next level. And the people who answered no, hope we will inspire you with a demonstration on this new tool. Anyhow, either case, our next presenter, Martin Okut from NTC Caliro, will take you through how you can become a Google Drive and Docs master. So Martin, you have the stage.
Oh, thank you very much, Stephanie. This is Martin from National Teachers College Caliro. I'll be taking you through becoming a Google Drive and Docs master. Next slide, please. So you should be asking the question, why get familiar with Google Drive and Documents? One thing is it helps you to back up your precious files that you do not want to miss or to lose. The other is it has an option for you to send large files to students, to coworkers, as well as friends. Google Drive as well has got applications which can allow you to access a good number of documents. And not only that, with the Google Drive and Docs, you can be able to open and edit different types of documents. There are many other reasons, but that is quick. Now, it should be to your interest to really get to know about how to go about with the Google Drive. And when you successfully log in, we are just simply giving you this so that you get to know which features are actually available in the Google Drive. So when you look at our screen, you should be able to see on the left-hand side, there is an option of new, there is an option of My Drive, and now for new, you click on new if you want to create a new document, if you want to upload a new file, and if you want to create a new folder. Next. Now, under the section My Drive, that's where you actually find back files that you created yourself. when you look at shared with me, that is where you find files that were shared with you. Now, in the next slide, we'll be going live, and please do not move away. And from the results, we see that there are slightly more people who are familiar with Google Drive, but this demonstration is targeting both categories: those who are new to Google Drive and those who are already familiar with the Google Drive. But those who are also new, familiar with the Google Drive, there will be at least something at the end of the day that you'll be able to learn. So our live demonstration will involve how to access the Google Drive, how to create a folder, how to upload a file, how to create a new document, how to download a document that you've created, and how to go about sharing a document and collaborating with others. Next, please. Live. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen, and in a short while, it should be able to be displayed. Can I say it is displayed now?
It is displayed, Martin. It's fine.
Oh, thank you, Stefan, for the quick feedback. Now, before you can proceed with accessing the Google Drive, you need to have a web browser. And I'm quite sure you are familiar with browsers like Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome. Google Chrome is like this, and Mozilla Firefox is like this other one here. There is also one called a Peak browser. For this particular demonstration, I'm going to use the Google Chrome. So, but I have it open here. So the first thing that we have to do is to access the Google Drive. And so how do we access the Google Drive? So on the address bar, we type there Drive. Now, this is coming the way it is appearing because I have accessed Google Drive previously. Now, in this case, if it is already showing like this, there is no need for you again to continue typing. Otherwise, if it wasn't showing, you would continue typing and press enter. Now, in this case, I am going to click on this other option which says Drive. So it's the one that we want to use. So it will coming, loading in a short while, it should be able to display. Now here, after choosing that, after entering, it prompts us to sign in to the Google Drive. Remember, for you to sign in to the Google Drive, you have to sign in with your known Gmail address. Now, I'm going to use ECNU, my email address, for this demonstration, and this is the one I'm typing here. So after that, you have to click next. And it will load and it prompts you to enter your password. And because I have been using the computer, I set it in such a way that it remembers my password. So, but if you're a first-time user, you have to enter the correct user password that matches that particular email address. And you click on next. So in a short while, we'll be able to access the Google Drive. Yeah, it's coming. Yes, in a short while. It's coming. So as it is loading, you remember that our beginning point will always be on the left-hand side. You have to remember that it will be on the left-hand side. So there's not much we can be able to do, not until it has fully loaded the page. There are some folders already inside here, so we have to wait until we are able to see the folders which are already inside. Yeah, it's loading. The Google Drive is really a good thing to know how to use it. So please do not miss the steps which are going to be presented here, because once you miss a step, you might find it a bit difficult to catch up. So you need to keep looking on the screen so that you don't miss any step. It's loading shortly. Yes, it's about, yeah. Good. We're almost there. Yeah. There are quite some good files here. That's the reason why it is taking relatively longer to load the files. But a good thing, it's loading. So just be patient a little. Yes. So you'll recall in the previous slides that this is where you begin from. And one of the things that we have to start with is actually creating a folder. So on this other left-hand side where there is a plus and there is the word new, this is where we shall click. Okay? Just not fully loaded, sorry. It's still, soon should be able to load. They are still grayed out here. Let me click and see. Oh, it's still loading. Let me refresh the page a bit. Normally when it is a bit cloudy, the network is relatively slow. And we have some cloud cover here on my end. Okay. Okay. Let's try this out now. Okay. So on the left-hand side, we have new. So I will click on new. Okay. Now, when clicking new, remember one of the things that we have to do is actually to create a folder. So this means that I have to click on folder to create a folder. Okay. I have to, sorry for that. I have to, just a moment, I click on new and choose the option folder. And after clicking new and choosing the option folder, the option here presents itself and is prompting me now to enter a folder name. In this case, I'm going to say ICTE. After typing the folder name, when it is still highlighted in blue like that, I click on the word create. And it will quickly create the folder for us. Now, when you look at where my pointer is, you will see that this is the folder name. So now we are done with creating a folder. So the next thing is for us to be able to upload a file that you already have on the computer. Now, in this case, if I have to upload a particular file to this folder, I have to double click it to open. Okay, I will double click it to open. So it is telling me now to drop the files here. Now, remember, if you have to upload a file, you have to get back to the left-hand side where it says new. So I will take you to the left-hand side where there is new. Are you following? All right, good. On the left, new, I click, and I choose the option, file, upload. I click on that. Now, it prompts me to locate the file. You need to know where your file is. It's just the same as when you are trying to open a file on your computer. You need to know where the file is for you to proceed. So in this case, it's because I accessed this most recently, the document actually was going to be, in fact, it's on the desktop. So, and it's on a folder called 9COP live demo. I'm opening this just in case you were following that. So I will double click to open. Yes, it is presenting. Now from here, the document that I need to upload is this. So I will click on this and click on the option open. However, some of you are familiar with the option of, if you want to click and then click the option open, you could just go ahead and double click on this file until upload it. I'm just using now open to be a bit simple. I will click open. And on the left-hand side, bottom right corner of your screen, you should be able to see the number of files which have been uploaded. And now in this case, it's saying one file upload complete. And there is a tick. So I click on this, I close. So meaning we are done with two things. So I have successfully finished up with creating a folder and then uploading a file, which we have done successfully. Now, how do you create a new Google Doc and you want it to reside inside here where there is ICTE? So while you are still on ICTE, as you can see from here, it means you have to remember you get back to your left-hand side. So I will click new, excuse me, and choose the option Google Docs. I point at it. When I come to this other side and continue pointing at it, it presents two options, blank document and from a template. You will explore the option of a template much later. But in our case, for this demo, I'm picking on blank document. So it's loading. It's loading. It's loading. It's loading. You won't be able to do much when these other options are still grayed out like this. So you have to wait until you are able to see everything in black, not grayed out like this. And it's about to display all the commands, and the names should be in full black. So it is coming slowly. Yes. 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 Good. Now, the document is now open. Now, you will notice from here that most of the features are similar to that of a word processor that you have probably used. If you have used Microsoft Word, it's almost the same. There's not a very big difference if you have also used WPS Office. It's not very much different from this other one. Now, in the interest of time, because I have already a document which is created, so I will open a Word document in the interest of time, and I'm going to copy that information from a word processor, Microsoft Word, and I will just paste. It is also on the assumption that you have some work that you've already created and you would like to transfer the same to Google Docs. So after highlighting, I will copy, okay? And then I will switch to Google Docs. Now, after coming here, I will just need to click here, okay? Right click and choose the option paste, okay? On choosing the option paste, it now goes ahead to display for me, or rather for us, the document, as you may see, okay? Now, like any other word processor, if you want to make this bold, you need to select it and you can click here to bold, right? If you want to change the font size, this is where you come and change the font size from, okay? If you want to change the style, this is where you can change the style from, for example, to that, okay? But before you can say that you are now done with the creation of your document, please remember to save this document. So, but how do you go about with saving? On the top left corner, there is where it says untitled document, meaning it has not been assigned a name. Now, all you have to do is click here. Now, when you click there, what happens is the Google Docs prompts suggests that it is the first line in that document which should be given, which should be the name. But your interest might be, I want it to be only line spacing. So you will click inside here and you delete the other section that you do not want to appear there. After that, you press enter. Now you have successfully completed creating your document. Now, after completing to create a document like this, there are instances whereby you may need to download the same document. Let's assume that you just created it straight away without copying from Microsoft Word, and you created it in this manner, straight to the to Google Docs, and you want to download it. So all you have to do to download it is on the left-hand side, there is an option which says File. You click on File. When you click on File, a drop-down menu will appear, and you will move down to Download. When you choose the option Download, when you select at it, you point at it rather, you mouse over, there is an option of Download as Word document. If you want to download it as a Word document so that you may be able to open with Microsoft Word, this is what you choose. Let's click on it and see what happens. Okay? Yeah? So on other, here you will be able to see that it has downloaded. I'm going to show you where that file has gone. In most cases, people find it difficult to locate where the downloaded files go. Okay? Just a moment. Okay? So that has been downloaded. Now, you might also want to download it in PDF. So to download it in PDF, I will come to File, again, Download, and choose the option Download as PDF document, and click. And it will download it. All right? Yes? Now, usually, what happens is when the document has been downloaded, it goes to downloaded files folder. So I will minimize here, minimize this, and go to computer, open it, okay? And from here, you have to look at this option on the left-hand side here, which says download, but there is also an option here, which says downloads. So either you can open it. So I will double click to open. And you'll actually notice from here that we have line spacing, and then there is line spacing. This is a PDF, and this is Word, okay? I will open only one in the interest of time. Let me open this other one. Okay, this is the previous one I copied from. Let me close that. Okay, so it's this. So when you open it, you will actually see it in this option, in this manner. You will see that the font here is slightly different because we had adjusted it. So if you want to edit it, you simply need to you choose the option enable editing, and you'll be able to proceed with your document. If you want to print it, you'll be able to print it. All right. Okay. You'll be able to print it if you so desire. Okay. Now, yes. So this is how it can be after enabling editing. Right. I will now close this. I will close this. Remember, this was the first one where I copied from. I will close that. Now, after doing all that, I'm switching back to Google Drive. Here, if you are to share this document, for example, with other people, when it's still open, you click on the right-hand side of your screen, there is an option which says share. Right now, it's only private to me, but if I want to send to other people, I have to click on the option share. All right. Now, it will load some other screen. It will bring a screen on the a menu on the computer. Now, here it's telling us share with people and groups. When it says now people, that one is now referring to if it is an individual person's email address. Let's say you are sending to NS Zulaika. The good thing, this email address is already here. I will click on that. Okay. If I need to send it to a group, for example, CPD. This is a group where so many people in Kaliro, NTC Kaliro, have been added. So when I click here, all these people whom you see their email addresses, on sending this link to them, they will be able to access. Now, but what are the levels of access? On the right side here, you will see that there is an option of editor, and just like the name suggests, that one will be able to edit. What about other options? You can just comment, then you can be a viewer. For now, I want to give these people access to be editors. But what is here under this? Share with people settings. When you click there, you'll be able to see that there are options which are available here, which you can explore much later. I will go back by clicking here. Now, after I've entered the email addresses, I may choose to put a message here and then click on send. And that these people will receive the link in their emails. Okay. Now, before I will be able to log into the my email account so that you will see what has been sent, I also want to see how to share with another option. So for now, I will click on share again. and it displays this. But I would like you to look at on the bottom side here from the menu that has appeared. You will see that there is an option of get a link. So change to anyone with a link. So I will click on this option, okay? And just generated a link for me. So let me just click on this, got it? So what do I have to do? So here it shows that anyone with the link, anyone on the internet with this link can view. I can still modify from here, okay, the level of access, okay? So before I can proceed to my email to show, I need to copy the link first, okay? And I simply say done, okay? And now, before I get into my email, I want to close this open Google Doc. And to close it, I have to move up. You see here, there is an X here. I will click this X, okay? So I will add another tab here, and I want to log in into my email. So I will log into the email so that you can see how what has been emailed out. So I have a notification because I am part of that emailing group. You'll actually notice that I have also been sent a link. So line spacing, invitation to edit. So when I click on this, okay, when I click on that, when I scroll, I should be able to see an option of being able to open in Docs, all right? But remember, I copied the link for any other person to be able to access. So if I have to email this link to other people, I have to go to compose on the left-hand side, okay? And then decide who is going to receive this email. Let me say Kizito, yes, is going to receive this link. And let's say Mose Musisi at Gmail is going to receive this link, or even cpd-online at googlegroups.com. They are going to receive the link. So then I can put the subject here, and for the interest of time, I'll just choose that. And then you, like any other letter, you introduce dear blah blah and type your text. Then you right click within here and you choose the option paste. And that is the link that you copied from the other side. After that, don't save it as draft, don't discard it. Remember to hit the option send, and that will be sent to all the people who are in, who you addressed that email to, okay? Yes, so with that, I would like to say that before I can move away from here, let me just switch. On the left here, there is still ICTE Google Drive. So Google Drive, and so here is our file. Remember, you can explore this more at your free time, okay? When you right click here, for example, on this file, there are quite a number of other options that you'll be able to explore during your free time. And if you are using a public computer, remember to sign out the way you have to sign out. On the top right corner, You remember, you click and then you choose the option which says sign out, okay? Similarly, you do the same on your Google account. I thank you very much for listening. Over to Stephanie.
Yes, thank you, Martin, for giving that excellent presentation to us. Let me take us back through the slides. So Martin, again, well done. And if we had to summarize your presentation, you showed us indeed how we can access Google Drive.
I do what?
Okay, how to create a folder, upload files, downloading a document, creating new documents, and sharing them for collaboration with our colleagues. So thank you, Martin, once more for this great demonstration. And I'm sure we all learned a lot about this.
Hello, I wanted to ask a question.
Next up in our agenda is sharing of good practices on Google Drive and Google Documents. Therefore, I would like to give the stage to Edmund from NTC Unyama. So at this point, Edmund, you can share with us your ideas and good practice on Google Drive.
Thank you, Stephanie. I hope you can hear me.
Very well.
Okay, I was afraid because it is raining here, so I hope my network will be clear. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. I wanted to ask.
Google Drive is a very good tool. I use Google Drive and Docs in many ways. I use it for file storage, creating documents, sharing information. But how do I use it to interact or share with my learners? First of all, I've created shared folders in my Drive. There's an option for sharing a folder which contains different files. So I've created shared folders in my Google Drive, and these folders contain ebooks, notes, videos on different topics, and textbooks. So I share the folder links. Martin has showed us how we can share links. So I copy the link and I share with my learners using my WhatsApp group created for my biology class. So meaning that students can access all the information in these shared folders. So most of the folders like videos are very big and they cannot be shared directly by posting them on WhatsApp. But if a student is now on WhatsApp and has that link, so just tapping or clicking on the link takes you directly to my Drive. So you are able to see the files, you can read the books, textbooks, the notes, you can also watch the videos, even download the materials. So it is very good because the information can be accessed by students anytime when they load data, but you can also change the settings to enable offline reading so that even if you are offline, you should be able to access the material. Secondly, I've found it interesting in research supervision. I use this Google Drive and Docs during my research supervision when I'm supervising students' proposals and reports. So with Google Docs, I'm able to edit, make comments in students' research and proposals, reports. But how do I do this? Just opening the document in Google Docs, then I click on Add Comment. There's a plus sign in the toolbar when you open a Google Doc. If it is in Word, it's better if you convert it, you open it in Google Doc, you will see a plus sign. So when you click on the plus sign, you'll be able to give your comment by highlighting where you think the student should correct. So you highlight that area and you put your comment. So after putting my comments, I'm able to send it to my students for correction. So they'll be able to read the comments and they make corrections. As I said, I want to emphasize that it is good because you can access and edit these documents, all students' assignments, anywhere, anytime, even when you are in a bus traveling. Personally, I've been doing this. When I'm traveling, I'm in a bus, I'm bored. them. Change the file or document settings to access them offline, because sometimes you don't have data, but when you change the settings, you can access these documents offline and you edit, then you share with your learners. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you very much, Edmund, for sharing this good practice with us. It was very interesting to listen to you, and it was good to have you on stage. So thank you once more, Edmund. Next up, we have one more polling. As we are at the end of the COP, we would like to know how you feel about using Google Drive in the future. So right now, you should be seeing a new screen popping up on your screen as well. And the question is the following: how do you feel about using Google Drive in the future? There are 4 options there: awesome, interested, fair or okay, and I need an extra push. So you can submit your answer and select your option directly from the screen. I will give you a few seconds to do this exercise before we share the results with you. So please go ahead and select your answer from the screen. A few more seconds to do the exercise. I can see that the results are still coming in. All right, let me share the results with you. If things are okay, you should be seeing the results of this polling question right ahead. So 46% of the participants in this meeting say, awesome, I'm definitely ready to use Google Drive. 36% say they're interested in Google Drive, which is great. Only 1% says, okay, but not sure whether it's useful. So actually that's very good. So this means most of you are interested. And also a few people say they need an extra push, which is also very fine. And as you all know, we have the help desk members and the one-stop portal ready to support you. So thank you very much for doing this exercise with us. Keeping this at the back of our heads, we now make time for a Q&A session. And to do so, I will give the floor back to Claire. Claire, if you are there, you can guide us through this Q&A session.
Thank you, Stephanie, and presenters and everybody in the meeting. Now it is our time for our question and answer session. You raise up your hand. There is an icon for raising up your hand. You then, when the facilitator picks up your name, then you can talk. You unmute your microphone, you raise your voice and talk, but you can also write your question in the chat box.
Okay, there's a question from Ronald, Claire.
Okay, let me get in the chat box.
Ronald, can you try and unmute your microphone?
Let me try. I think I can be heard now. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I want you to know the maximum capacity that I can upload on my Google Drive, because from the lectures you've said, it actually is restricted to a certain capacity. How much data, how much thing can I upload on Google Drive?
Stephanie, did you get the question of Mr. Tim well?
Okay, yes, thank you very much, Ronald, for this question. So the maximum capacity of Google Drive is 15 gigabytes, which is actually quite a lot for a free version. So I hope this answers your question.
Well, yeah, sure, perfectly okay.
So it's actually a lot for a free version. Yeah, so I hope this answers your question.
I got that right. Thank you.
Welcome. There's also a hand from Timothy. Timothy, can you try and raise your voice?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to add more on the response to Kenyan. So there is of course the 15 but if one wants to increase on the storage capacity, there is always about a charge of $1.99 monthly for one to have storage of up to 100 GB.
Okay. Thank you very much, Timothy, for giving more clarification or to top up on the next question. So indeed, you can also have a paid version and then you have more storage. But again, a lot of people have been using Google Drive a long time, and it's actually a lot of storage with the free version. But you are correct, so thank you for sharing this with us. Are there more questions?
Have you seen them? Tiffany?
Yes, Claire, go ahead.
I think Lakot Grace really wanted to talk as the session was going on. She had a burning question, and I think this is the right time. If she's still in the call, she could ask her question.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Yes, Grace.
Are you hearing me? I wanted to ask a question on relating to Gmail. Like when you want to send an email to someone and then you log in, there's a part on the left side that asks, would you like Google to remember, is it the password or something? I've always rejected it because I've been thinking that when you leave the Google to remember, so any other person can hijack your mail. Is it true? I'm just asking because I don't have enough knowledge on the use of the mail. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Grace. Stephanie, can you answer Grace?
Okay, thank you, Grace, for this very good question. It's indeed very important in terms of privacy. It depends. I would advise if you're using a computer in the library or not your personal computer to indeed reject this and not to make sure that Google Drive does not remember your personal credentials. But if you're using your personal computer,
Okay.
you can. It's indeed a handy option that you don't have to fill in this all the time. What you can also do is clear your browsing data now and then, so it clears all your history, also your credentials. So that's also a good thing to do now and then. I hope this helps and answers your question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I can see there's also a question from Mokani Philip. Yes, Philip, can you try to speak?
Can you hear me?
Claire,
Yes.
okay.
We can hear, but little.
Yeah.
Speak up. No. We cannot get him.
Okay.
Maybe you should try turning off the video.
Okay. In the meantime, there are two more questions, so we can try to answer them. There's also a question from Emmanuel. Emmanuel, can you try to unmute?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I needed to find out whether there is a relationship between Google Drive and the Padlet. Can there be a relationship? Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
Emmanuel, we can hear you.
We got your question. That question is for you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Claire. So we would answer that there is no direct relationship. There are two different applications, and Google Drive is from Google, and Padlet is a completely other service provider. But if you remember well, you can also, with your Google account, you can also enter the Padlets and, for example, share links. But what you, for example, can do if there's a relation, if you remember well, on Padlet you can add posts and add links. For example, as a teacher, if you create a Google document in Google Drive, you can share a link, and you can share this link on your Padlet. So if I would answer, it are two different tools, but you can link them to one another. So if you add a post on your Padlet, you can, in this post, you can add links or upload files from your Google Drive. So actually there is a relationship. That would be our answer to this. I hope this answers your question, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good.
Great. And then the last question is from Nathan Mutaka.
Yes, thank you so much. It is when Martin was present, I noticed he was online working on Google Drive. Is it possible to work offline, or you have to strictly be on online? Thank you.
That's a nice question. Martin, can you answer that? Martin?
Claire, I can answer.
Yes.
Yes, Martin, answer that question.
Oh, that's a good one. First of all, we need to thank you. The Google Drive is a cloud-based service. And that means you have to have the connectivity on to be able to successfully work.
Good. So the answer is clear.
But
Claire, can I add on?
Edmond could add on that.
Yes,
Okay.
Edmond.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, Martin, you are right. Yeah, this is, it requires data. Yeah, but there is an option also. There's an option.
Okay.
If you have your docs or your folders, when you right click,
yes.
when a document is open in Google Doc, when it is in Google Doc, you can right click. When you right click, you can turn on online reading. When you turn on online reading, you can access it offline.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you just turn on offline reading, then you can access it offline.
Okay.
Thank you, Edmond. And I think questions have been answered. Stephanie, we can move the next steps, and those who have more questions can write them in the chat box. Thank you.
Yes, Claire, we are listening to you.
Okay, thank you. We are at the closing, and we want to have a communication. And with this, Maggie should guide us on who is giving us the closing communication. But before that, we have the word cloud of our Mentimeter. Please get onto your www.menti.com and fill in that figure 757889 to answer question 1 to describe today's community of practice. And Stephanie will display our results. Stephanie, you have taken it very fast before. Oh, they can see the code. The code is up, the question, you can copy it. Somebody says insightful, great. The code is just on top of this question on this slide, which is displayed. Just check 757889 in those small words. For those who are not seeing the code. Practical, great. Inspiring, Somebody says nice. Fantabulous. Oh my God. Great. Enriching. Wonderful. Good. Oh, yeah. That's nice. Glorious. Oh my God. That word is yes. Motivational. Wow. Engaging. Great. And very many other more. Back to you, Stephanie.
Okay. So while these words are still coming in, I can see someone sending in wow. And with this wow slide, we'll go to the next slide. So this exercise can still continue. And we would like to share with you some more communication. First of all, we would like to give you a reminder on the screencasting challenge. This is something that has been communicated in our last 2 communities of practice, but this is just a reminder, and an official communication will also follow. So what is the screencasting challenge? We have learned very many tools during our journey in this community of practice. Right now, we want to know more about your experience in using them with your students. So it is time to showcase. We want to see what you have learned, and you can showcase this through screencasting. If you remember well, screencasting was the topic of one of our previous communities of practice. So let's go a bit more into detail about the basic principles of this challenge on screencasting of good practices. First of all, it will include a PowerPoint presentation with a maximum of 6 slides and a maximum of 2 minutes long. This is a good exercise to be precise and to the point. And each slide can answer one key question. We will talk more about the content of the slides in our next slide. All participants will receive 20,000 of airtime once they have submitted their screencasting. And there are 3 categories. So we have an advanced for people who are already very excellent with screencasting. We have a beginner and PSS. And all of this is just to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity to get recognition and awarded for their screencasting they have submitted. What will happen is that the best videos receive an award, and they will be featured in the distance learning video. Now, what is the distance learning video? It's a video that TTE is currently creating to showcase what the NTCs have been doing in terms of distance learning. So these are the basic principles of the challenge. So as mentioned, we will go a bit more into detail on the key questions that should be answered in your screencasting, which you can submit. First of all, it of course would be good to get an introduction on who you are, what you teach, and your NTCs. Questions we would like to have answered are: which tools do you use to ensure the continuity of learning? For example, as well, what are your top 2 tools? What works well for you and why? Other questions that could be answered are: what motivates you and what encourages you? Also, as you are a teacher, what advice would you give yourself to improve your practice? And what would you recommend for your peer lecturers? This is not only a challenge, but we would also like to learn from each other. And what are the barriers in distance teaching for you? And so on. So these are guidelines, but not the only truth. So there are 3 dots there because you still have a lot of creativity in you to change on this and add your own personality in your screencasting. But at least these questions should be answered. So also we would like to share with you a timeline. We are currently July, so we are currently also introducing the challenge to the NTCs and partner secondary schools. On 7th of August, we would like to have all the screencasts submitted, and they can be submitted to Helen Namialo. 14th of August, the jury will select the winning videos or the winning screencast, to be more precise. And 20th of August, we will hold an award ceremony. So this is a timeline we would like to share with you, but again, a more official communication will follow, and we will go through the FCs and principles. So this is just an introduction, but more information will come to you. So stay tuned for this. Something else we would like to share with you is this. Of course, you can find us on the One Stop portal. So we would like to make reference to it once more, and you will be able to find a written tutorial on Google Drive and Docs and a recording of this community of practice. Also, we would like to acknowledge the ICT help desk members one more. They are ready to support you, and you can find an overview of them on the One Stop portal. Let's keep up the good work. This being said, we would like to invite you for our 10th community of practice on making attractive posters next week at 2:30 p.m. We all know the timing by now and the frequency, but next COP we will get creative again together, and we will show you how you can make very attractive posters for education and teaching and learning. So this keeping in mind, we would like to thank you, but we also have someone here to speak to you. We have Florence Amon, Deputy of NTC Unyama, and she would like to share some concluding remarks on this community of practice. So Florence, you have the stage.
Thank you, Nii. I hope people will hear me. I have rather a bad connection this side.
We can hear you. Thank you. Florence, are you still with us?
Okay, thank you very much. Learning process, it's been a slow and rather interesting one. I appreciate you so much. I also appreciate Enable. Enable usually goes together with TTE for the opportunity to bring us on board. I appreciate all those of you who have come to join us. And all we're asking is that please tell a friend to tell a friend that we are learning every Thursday. If you're not there, you'll be missing. So urge a friend to come and tell that friend to tell another one, so that at the end of the day, we are all here and our students will gain after we have gained. I thank you all very much for being here. I submit.
Okay, thank you very much, Florence, for these nice words. So thank you for the concluding remarks. On our side, we would like to thank Claire and Martin and Alice from NTC Caliro to help preparing this community of practice and for their excellent presentations and demonstrations. So thank you once more, Alice and Martin, and Claire for the preparations. So we believe in you. You are a champion, as this slide is presenting. Thank you and good luck with making your Google Drive and Google Documents and your screencasts. See you next week for the COP on attractive posters. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Stephanie. Thank you.
Huh?
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.